Hi, I'm Dave Barnes.
And I'm John McLaughlin.
And welcome to Dadville.
Dadville is a podcast where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of awesome dadding.
It's funny thoughts and deep talks.
So please, enjoy your time here in Dadville and enjoy this episode with...
Erin and Ben Napier. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. The holidays are here, and you know what that means? It's time to get your friends and family the gifts they deserve. Take the stress out of shopping with Amazon's great deals and low prices on a huge range of items from toys to tech and much more. Whoever you're gifting for, Amazon has great prices on everything you need this holiday season. Shop early holiday deals now.
Yeah, so Laura, who y'all have been communicating with, is incredible. And she made sure that we're on time everywhere.
Yeah, she was texting 10-minute warning, Ben, 5-minute warning.
Thank you,
Ben.
Laura.
So Erin, I'm assuming that because you so specifically called him out, that's more of a Ben problem than an Erin problem? Look at that.
I didn't say that.
It's that I take care of all of the things that we want to get done.
Shots are already fired.
Wow.
That we want.
that we want to get done.
Oh, man.
The listener can't see the hand.
Here's the deal. We're
gestures that are
going.
That's
happening
right.
here.
Yeah.
We're going camping tomorrow, and we got to get our camper ready. We haven't been camping in probably 2 months, so he has to do such things as
Yes.
empty the poo-poo.
Yeah.
So
Because
you
the
guys...
last time we went camping, there was
Our children just went and used the toilet when it wasn't hooked up to anything.
They obviously
Those
haven't
are the
been.
things that he
Yeah, they
does,
haven't done.
basically.
That's like one of the first things you learn when you do your first bus tour in the music world.
Yeah, that is the
I mean,
number
they
one
really
thing.
read you in on, like, listen to me. This is vital that you understand this more than anything else. Do not poop in the toilet.
Do not.
It is
Seriously.
like rule 1 through
It's like,
10.
hey,
Good luck
don't
telling
poop on the
a
toilet.
3-year-old.
What's your name?
Yeah.
Don't poop,
Yeah.
don't poop on the bus.
Yeah. Are
Sorry,
you the
again,
artist?
what's
We
your
don't
name?
care. Just don't.
Number
Helen
one.
Helen came to me one time and she was like, "So I used the potty and there's no water."
Oh.
And I said, "Yeah, because it's not even plugged in to anything. Why did you go in the camper to do that?" Well, because I was excited. Okay, that's okay. No big deal. Number 1 or number 2? Well, I don't know what number 1 and number 2 is. Did you TT or poo-poo? Poo-poo. Great.
You're like, and then your day changed immediately.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
your plans
Yeah.
immediately changed. You
Yeah.
knew this is where.
So you guys camp a lot then? Because
Yeah,
you
you
said,
said
Erin,
I
you were
was ready
like,
when you said
gosh,
we-
we haven't been camping since, man. I was expecting like the year 19 something to come out.
So
We have
let's
an
back up.
Airstream.
Yeah, we have a beautiful restored Airstream that we're obsessed with.
Yeah.
And when we finished it, I mean, we went camping twice a month.
Jeez.
And then
That was during COVID. There was nothing else to
Yeah.
do, so we were just going
and
to camp.
campgrounds were
We go to
open.
campgrounds.
It was great.
There in
And
Mississippi,
then we
campgrounds
had-
close? Campgrounds like near y'all, like central Mississippi? Sort of southern Mississippi?
No, we never really.
We went to the beach.
Yeah, we went to the beach. a lot, went
yeah.
down a little
Yes.
bit.
Yes.
So we get May Louise, our May was born, our baby, and we were like, okay, we're going to take a little bit of break, and
Because we didn't know how to camp with 2 kids. We'd been camping
Yeah.
with 1,
Yeah.
and that
Yep.
was easy.
Yep.
But it
every
was
time
really
we
small.
tried to do it, it just would not work. Wouldn't work. And then we were like,
We
why
got a
don't-
big, ugly camper.
Yeah, it's massive and white and hideous.
That sounds like me in high school.
But the inside is not ugly. It's beautiful. We named it Groove
Still
because
like
it's
that.
ugly
Oh.
on the outside. And
Yeah.
it's good on the inside.
Oh, look at that. See, there's always lessons to be learned. There's always teaching moments. That's what we want our listeners to realize right now. Is there's every moment could be a teaching moment. You guys, we are thrilled you are here with us. And I know you probably feel this energy coming from me especially, and it feels familiar. And you're thinking, why from Dave do we feel this
You're
energy?
thinking,
And
why are we more attracted to Dave than John?
Yeah, what?
Dave's
And it's
gonna explain.
because, fun fact about me, I grew up in Kosciuszko, Mississippi. And so
That's what it is. I knew it.
you could feel
Have
it.
you guys
were
done
like,
any
I felt
camping
it.
around the Kosciuszko area?
Dave, how old are you?
46.
Do you know?
Oh, here we go. Here we
did
go.
you ever shop at?
Claude Julian's.
Are you asking me if I mowed his yard? Because it would be yes to both answers.
Okay, he was
Both
Ben's
questions.
landlord in college.
I lived
What?
in their house in Oxford.
You
What?
are kidding me.
Yeah.
So they had a house that they had bought because
Austin.
Austin was going to live in it
Mhm.
when
His
she went to
daughter.
Ole Miss. And then she gets to Ole Miss. She wasn't going to do
That
the
is so
fraternity.
funny.
Freshman year, she
Sorority.
sorority. Freshman year, she has to live in the dorm. Then she rushed. So sophomore year, she has to live in the dorm. Junior year, she has to live in the dorm. So they had this house there that they only used for ball games. And it had a basement apartment in it. And they let me live there for super cheap.
It was excellent.
And,
anyway, we're so connected.
It was excellent.
We're like cousins, basically.
I know.
is what-
Well,
That is
anybody in
crazy,
Mississippi is
like-
related.
You guys just played the game that a lot of
One
people
person.
feel like is ridiculous, where you're like, oh, someone just mentioned one of the 50 states, and you're like, oh my gosh, do you know?
Yeah.
And it actually paid off. You're like, no, I mowed
I'm
his
telling
lawn.
you.
Oh, he was my landlord.
I am telling you.
But Mississippi's
insane.
different.
It is.
It's
It
just
is
one
so.
town.
And my parents and my mom is from Jackson, and my dad's from Clarksdale, and so it's
Okay.
it's not just that I grew up in Kosciuszko. It's that all of my people are Mississippi people. So
Yeah.
to your point, John, it's like you need like a question, if not maybe two, with other
Yeah.
Mississippi people for us.
Where are
to
you
find
from, John?
Let's see, I'm from the big city of Anderson, Indiana. So
Just
I'm
the
kind
thriving
Anderson,
metropolis.
of, yeah.
What's that close to?
We would like to say it's a suburb of Indianapolis, but it's not really. But we would like to
So
say.
one of our sound guys, one of our guys on our crew is from, a little town east of Indianapolis.
We have corn.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not narrowing it down quite
that's
as much
all
as
the
you.
towns.
Yeah, that's every town. Hang on, I gotta ask him.
That is hysterical. Okay, that's all the time.
Yeah, I said, I said,
worry.
hey man.
Ben is this obnoxious old man who texts the entire group chat with the entire crew to say, "Hey Logan, what town are you from?"
Well, because Logan is actually working and he won't be looking at his phone, but
Yeah.
Becky is there.
So if
See,
Logan
that's pro
answers,
moves.
he's
That's
he's
pro
Like,
fired.
moves.
Logan, Ben wants to know what town
That's
you're
pro
from.
moves. That is so funny.
Yeah, I asked him. I was like, "So, what's home cooking for you? Like, I don't know anything about Indiana. What as far as like food and all?" And he said, "Corn." And I said, "Like corn casserole?" And he said, "No, I didn't discover that until I came to Mississippi." He said, "Like corn on the cob or cream corn,
Yeah.
Corn.
just corn."
Or you can do cream corn with corn on the cob. You can do them both.
It's
I'm a fan.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true.
Mm.
I mean, all the stereotype of like there's more than corn in Indiana. Technically, there's more, but it's mostly corn.
It's mostly
And it's great.
relegated
I
to
love it.
corn. Yeah. You guys, thank y'all for being on. So we do, as we begin, as you can tell, this is going to be a really high throttled interview. So just buckle up, hold on to your butts. We always like to give a little bit of the bio. This is who you are, and so this is going to be, you're going to get a little bit of bragging here. So enjoy this. I like how this starts, by the way. 6 days after meeting in college, Erin and Ben decided they would marry. That is, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Is that real? 6 days?
6
Yeah.
days.
Okay, we can't stop because I'll never get through this. Okay. They decided they would marry and have been inseparable ever since, working side by side in every venture, which is incredible. Their passion for small town revitalization and American craftsmanship is evident in their store, Laurel Mercantile Company, where they design and manufacture heirloom wares and durable goods made exclusively in the U.S. They live in Laurel, Mississippi, shout out, with their daughter Helen and, as you said, because now this by a little, and May, where they restore homes on HGTV's Hometown. Okay, and just more fun facts. We got an Ole Miss grad. We got a hottie tottie with us. Aaron, where'd you go?
Oh, yes.
Both. Okay, we got both.
Yeah.
We got both. Okay, and then books. You got books. You got heirloom rooms that Erin did, which is it says a collection of essays walking the read through everyday room in her home, telling the story of family's life, of the days that make their home the place she longs for when she's away. Another book called The Lantern House, also Make Something Good Today by both of you guys. So obviously, you've been doing some things. You guys have been busy doing things, which is just crazy to see how much. And this is all within when did the show start? What did it say?
Oh,
We're in season 8.
16?
We're almost finished with season 8. We filmed the pilot in
2015.
15?
No,
14.
no. 15. 15.
15. Yeah. Yeah, because I ran for office at 13.
I turned 30
Jeez Louise. I mean,
So-
that is a...
9 years.
So I've got a question about how we let off there. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
6
Well
days
said.
after you met in college.
Yeah.
So what was it? Was there something you guys weren't seeing on day 4 or 5 that you needed that 6th day to
I
decide? Or
needed
what?
some time to think about.
So day one
Well,
was
wait,
like
back up. I had a crush on Ben for a year before we ever spoke.
Ooh, hot goss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What
It was
was
a
your
small
plan
pond.
there? Were you like, I'm going to give it 2
It
years,
was a
and then I'm going
small Listen, Oxford.
It
Look, let
was-
me say this. My whole family went to Mississippi State, and my mom very specifically never let me set foot in Oxford. And I'm not kidding. She was like, "You're not."
Dang.
It was dead to
Sure,
her.
you'd love it.
I went.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
wife graduated from Ole Miss, and
Oh, dang.
the minute that I set foot in that town, I was like, "Oh, she has kept me from something that is very powerful." It is full
Well, we
of.
started at Jones.
Yeah, so there's a
Oh,
community
okay,
college right
20
down
minutes
the,
from
20
Laurel.
minutes from Laurel. And that's where we met. And it was literally that I had absolutely no plans whatsoever coming out of high school. I was not worried, didn't care. And my family had all gone to Jones, and so I went there and met Erin, who she got waitlisted at the school she wanted to
I
go
had
to.
one plan. I was going to go to Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida. That was my plan from 9th grade.
What
And
kind
I
of
was-
is that a design college?
No, it's just in St. Augustine, my favorite place in the
Oh,
world. But it's a
okay.
tiny college. There's
Okay.
like 250 students.
Oh, my
there.
gosh.
Wow.
And
There's more than that.
it's a small college.
It's a 4-year school
260,
that
270.
probably has what, 3,000?
I have no idea.
It's small.
Not many. The
Not
point
many.
is, the letter that I got, the rejection letter that I got from them in 11th grade said, we love that you are at the top of your class. You have straight A's. You're an outstanding student. We just frankly do not have room on our campus for you.
Wow.
And it just
They were like, "We feel like
crushed
you're more
my
like Jones
soul.
College material." That's,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I was like, I don't have a plan now.
oh,
I guess I'll just go to Jones.
I've never
And then-
heard of a quote unquote rejection letter like that, where
I
they're
know,
like,
I know.
"No, we want you.
Yeah,
we
we
already
We just don't have room.
we just don't
Yeah.
have the beds.
we don't."
It's in a beautiful. Was originally a hotel. The town
Oh,
was beautiful.
geez.
Like,
Yeah.
it is a
It's the oldest
great-
city in America.
Yeah.
Anyway, who cares? They didn't want me.
Yeah,
They're dead to
enough
me.
about
Is that
them.
true?
So
St.
Jones
Augustine?
College,
Yeah,
yeah, St. Augustine is.
Well, I just
You
learned
think
something.
it's in Virginia, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's St. Augustine.
St.
Florida.
Augustine. Okay,
I've been telling you that for years.
that's fair,
Anyway.
John. Good pushback.
Sorry,
John,
Aaron.
what town is it you're from?
Anderson, Indiana.
He's out here talking to Logan.
Was it
Listen,
close?
I guarantee you, if you tell Logan
Logan's
that you're
from
talking to John
Hagerstown.
McLaughlin right now, he's
Hagerstown.
going to go.
Hey, I did my my tennis team end of the season banquet in Hagerstown. Ask him if he remembers
go.
me. I was wearing the white T-shirt.
I'll ask him.
You'll remember.
50 minutes
With the Andre
away, 30
Agassi
miles.
Nikes.
30 miles away.
Oh,
There
my
you go.
God, that is
Did you know
hysterical.
Logan?
Oh yeah, Logan from Hagerstown. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
it
That old
runs
guy.
sound, texts every now and then. Anyway,
Oh, my
No
gosh.
Logan. So anyway, yeah, we met.
Anyway, I went to Jones and it was awesome and I loved it. They paid me to go to school there and I met Ben. But I just had this insane crush on him because he was really popular. I mean, he was in like not popular in the you know, the movies in the 90s where the popular guy's kind of a turd.
Yeah.
Not that way.
Yeah.
He would find someone who was eating alone in the student union. He would go sit with them.
Oh,
And I was there's a train coming through.
I couldn't tell.
It's gonna be
That's
really loud. I didn't have a lot of friends when I was little. I got bullied and picked on a lot. I ate lunch alone most of the time. And so I would see him do that and I thought, I just want to be his friend. Like I wish he just knew who I even
Oh,
was.
that's so sweet.
And I had the biggest crush. He looked like Ryan Dunn from Jackass.
Oh, wow.
Didn't we all have a crush on him?
I mean, I certainly
Sure.
had thoughts about him.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just picturing
so
you
fun
sitting
twist,
like.
I had a crush on Erin. First week of school, I saw someone pointed her out because she had a pixie haircut.
Oh, yeah.
And she wore like loose fitting jeans and stuff, and it was just very different from the early 2000s.
Yep.
Yeah.
From the
look.
cheerleader look that he
Yeah.
was usually
Yeah.
going for.
Yeah.
And
He needed
I
a
was
skater
very
girl.
interested in her, and I made a move in the last, like, moving out of the dorms. A buddy of mine was like, hey, do you want to get lunch before we leave? So we stopped to get lunch, and Erin was in there with her roommate. I didn't know it was her roommate, but I knew the girl. And I walked over, very tall, very handsome. Go out across the room.
Yep.
And I say, hey, Kristen, how are you? And she's like, I'm good. Do you know my roommate, Erin?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, hey, I'm Ben Napier.
You didn't know that Kristen and I both had a massive crush on him.
Oh, geez.
And if we saw his truck parked at the student union, we would go in.
The game is afoot.
Yes. So
and you were like, Kristen, don't eat with me. I got to be eating alone.
Ben Napier. And Erin says,
I know who you are. I've seen you around campus. You kind of look like a guy that I work with, which was true. And I had a crush on this guy that I worked with because he looked like Ben Napier.
Just the circle tightens.
Go with, he must be a pretty good looking guy.
Oh,
sure. Bullseye.
Nosedive. Like, she was like, cool.
I said, I guess.
No, it didn't work. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Because what was I supposed to say? Dave? Was I supposed to be like, yeah, he's so good looking and I want to marry him because he looks like
That
you.
is true.
You smell
that
good.
Is true.
I
That's a tricky.
That's a
tricky
you can't
setup.
go there.
Yes.
So I walked away, go home for the summer.
He walked out and I was like, oh, I'm so stupid. Why did I say that?
So, Ben, are you?
I love you.
Well, Ben, are you feeling this too? Because you saw this bomb. I mean, are you going home like, well?
Oh, shoot.
He never bombs. That's why this was really hard to take.
So our next interaction, I'm in the student union having lunch, and I see that she's sitting with a friend of hers, just the two of them. And I'm like, all right, here we go.
Is this 3 months later?
This is, roughly 3 months later.
Okay.
So I'll walk across throw my trash away, and I'm walking out to my truck, and I stop at their table, and I'm talking, small talk.
And my heart's beating like 1,000 beats per second.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I was, trying to be, because at the time nobody was wearing their hair very short.
Mm-hmm.
No females. And I said, hey, I really like your hair short. A lot of girls can't pull it off the way you do. Which was not like, it was like, I was trying to make a compliment there. And Erin said,
well, that's funny that you say that. Joy Beth and I just left the salon where she got her hair cut off really short. Her hair had been to like her butt and she had cut it off
super short.
And I was just trying to be like, Joy Beth looks great too.
And then I'm like, yes, it looks really good on you too. God. It looks great. I love your hair.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Guys,
2 strikes.
Social interactions are so hard.
So
God is just sitting in heaven going, this is just, we didn't see this coming. We thought this would go a lot.
God's like, what is the deal? This is the plan.
Guys, I'm laying this out for you.
And once again, he walked off and I was like, God, why can't I just say the right thing?
So 3rd time, I'm driving through campus. It's late afternoon on a random weekday. And I see Erin walking out of the building.
Student journalism.
Yeah, she was in yearbook. And I was like, oh, there's Erin. I'm going to pull up and stop. And so I slow down. And as I'm stopping, I notice she's sobbing. And I'm like, oh, shoot. And so I was like, hey, is everything okay? And Erin says, I'm so glad I just ran into you. Someone stole my purse from the yearbook room, and some people said they saw you in the building earlier. And my mind immediately goes to, oh shoot, she thinks I stole her purse.
What I meant was,
did I see anyone? But that's not where my mind went.
Of course, yeah.
I'm like, no, I promise you, I didn't steal your purse. And she's like, no, I understand.
Oh
like,
my
no, I don't think you do. I promise, I didn't steal your purse.
I can't believe you guys are together.
I mean, how did this work?
At this point, it was like, so I'm like, all right, 3
I was
strikes.
so excited to see him come in, and I thought for sure he's going to see the guy that took my purse, and he's going to help me get this bad guy, and I'm going to get my
We're
purse
going to get
back.
married, and we're going to have babies. And it didn't go that way. So then I was running for the campus favorite, Mr. JCJC, and And it was just like me and my friend were doing it as a joke. And
He's just wearing a tuxedo around campus.
and making stupid political signs, like it was
Vote Ben Napier. He's a family man.
things like
Oh,
that.
my gosh.
Family.
He won't steal your purse.
And
No,
he won't
no
steal
way.
your purse.
Yeah.
He's not a purse thief. It's fake news. It's not a purse. I coined that, fake news.
Yeah, that was where it first was said.
So Erin is leaving one of the buildings as I was coming in. I held the door open for her, and it was her and a friend. And I said, "Hey, you're going to vote for me, right?" And she very flirtily
Oh, no, I like that. That plays.
Flirtily.
says, she like gives me this smile and says,
I finally got it right and said the correct thing.
She said,
I said, "You know I'm voting for you."
and she said it in a very flirty way. And so it was like, oh.
Anyway, can we just get to the point now?
But
The time
what
we
you
really
realized that she likes
spoke to each
thieves.
other was I was yearbook design editor, and we were doing a feature story, 10 feature stories on the most interesting people on campus. And we had a meeting, and everybody is supposed to come up with who these 10 people are. And they're like, all right, who's it going to be? Everyone raises hands and like, Ben Napier. That guy's awesome. We've got to make him one of them. And I was like, well, I can be there for the photos.
I should probably oversee this.
I can be there for that.
Just don't bring your purses, ladies.
Yeah, don't
Do not.
leave your
I don't
purses
know that.
in
I mean,
the way.
we've interviewed quite a few couples at this point about their, as we call them, meet cutes in the movies. And I don't know that I've ever heard one that was more. I mean,
It
that
just kept going.
I
It
don't
was
think
every-
halfway through that I didn't know how it was going to end. I had
Yeah,
to keep
I'm like,
reminding
yeah, you were
myself
thinking,
they're
like,
okay.
do they
They're
end up
together.
together?
Yeah.
Here we are.
I'm Eric Stakelbeck, host of the Stackscast podcast. If you want truth and a bold take on what's happening in our world, then listen to the Stackscast now. From thought-provoking conversations about the current state of America, the impact of global events, and issues facing the body of Christ, this podcast brings you today's biggest topics that affect your life. Make sure to follow the Stackscast on your favorite listening platform and join me every Tuesday as we have candid, thought-provoking conversations on issues that matter to you.
Hey friends, I'm David McGee. I'm a little crazy, and aren't we all? I want to tell you about a podcast I just launched. It's called A Little Crazy. I teach you how to manage and channel your mental health issues into strength, recovery, and lasting joy. What are my qualifications to lead this conversation? I was once lost and lost it all before I learned to manage better and walk confidently against the grain, becoming a best-selling author and changemaker. I dig deep on this podcast to reveal inspirational stories and valuable tools for management, recovery, and personal insight from the perspective of family. Mental health is a family story, as is recovery and finding joy. From crazy faith to love and everything in between, my entertaining guest and I vulnerably smash the stigma and bring down the walls that hold us back. I hope you'll join me on this podcast. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast app by clicking follow, or watch all the episodes over on YouTube. See you soon.
So we do the yearbook story. He came into the yearbook room and he gave me
She gave me a side hug, and I said, 2 arms, please. And so we
you went all in.
double
There
hug,
you go.
the real thing.
the real thing. And then,
And then 6 days later, we like from that moment, we were not apart for 6 days.
wow.
We were together nonstop. He met my parents just
Yeah.
as my friend. Just like my friend Ben is coming by with me, Mom. I have to pick up my stuff I need for this painting final. And my mom met him and was like,
Oh.
I love him. He's a good one.
She's voting
And then
for
my
Ben.
dad met him and was like, I love him.
He's
a good
tall.
one. He's tall.
Oh.
My dad is short.
Now, when you say
Ben is
short, what are we
6'6",
talking
My dad
here?
is 5'7", so he saw Ben
Okay.
and was like, I could have grandchildren who could play football someday.
Yeah, this changes
So-
the whole family.
But what we gave him were 2 little
beautiful
girls.
little blonde girls.
Oh, that is so great.
ballet, but that's fine.
That
Ben,
is so
how do
great.
you-
really into ballet, so he may have some Ole Miss ballerinas one day. Or
Hey, and you know,
He really wanted Ole Miss football players, but it's
yeah, that's okay.
Ben, how do you
Yeah,
feel
it's
about
great. He loves
being?
it. He is obsessed with them. It's the best.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
How do you
things
feel
are-
about being
It's day
6'6"?
6. Day 6, I had met her parents. We had not been apart, and I was like, "You're the one."
This
Here
is
we
it.
are.
That is, and then how long until wedding?
Well, my dad said.
Erin's dad's rule was you both have to have a degree before you can get married. Otherwise, you won't finish it.
You won't get your own reality show.
Erin was going to school. She was going to transfer to SCAD in Savannah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
And I was going to Ole Miss. I went to high school in North Carolina, and I did not I'm telling you, it was every day was different for me until I met her. And
that's a great qualifier.
I was living with two guys who were going to go to Ole Miss, and I was like, great, I'll go to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
We have a good time. We can have a good time in Oxford. And Erin's dad, after less than 2 weeks, he started saying, well, Ben's going to Ole Miss. You could go to Ole Miss.
Oh my gosh.
And so.
And I was like, yeah, okay, I guess you're right.
So over Christmas break, she decided to go to Ole Miss. That's how we ended up there. And we've been inseparable since.
That is when you got the parents that early on, that's a power
Yeah, they
play.
were full
It's
in.
really huge for me. My parents hated every boy I was ever friends with
Until
or dated.
Ben.
Until Ben. Except for Shad White. I will make that one exception.
Yeah.
Our
Shad's a
state
big
auditor
listener,
in
too.
Shout out to
Mississippi.
Shad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shad was my friend in high school that they were like, I like him.
Is that, please, that's short for something, right?
Shadrach.
Shadrach.
Whoa. Was he homeschooled?
Abednego. No, he was not.
Okay.
His parents were public school teachers.
Oh.
Interesting.
Okay. Respect.
Well, when you see a
Even
guy,
on Google, he just wrote a book that's becoming kind of a thing.
Whoa. What's his last name?
Shad White.
Shad White. Sweet Shad.
There's a
He's our state
huge
auditor.
civil rights something, I don't know, but his office made the discovery of funds that were being used, and I don't know enough
A welfare
about it.
fraud scandal.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, he was my friend in high school, and my parents approved of him.
Him and Ben. Yeah, it was going to be
And
Shad or
that's it.
Ben. It's going to be Shad.
when you see a man Ben's size, you want him on your
It's an
side.
immediate.
There.
Yeah.
You want him on your football team anyway.
Ben, how do you feel? I'm 5'8". Let's talk height for a second. Dave and I were actually just talking about this earlier.
Let's talk height.
In my opinion, if I could be just anything over 6 foot, if 6'1", that might be the perfect height. I'm 5'8". I'll always be 5'8". Maybe one day I'll be 5'7.5", but I'm not going to be 5'9" ever.
No.
You're 6'6". How do you feel about being 6'6"? What's it like being 6'6"?
It is. So when Erin and I started dating, she said, my brother's really tall. He's 5'9", and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Yeah, my mom's 5'10".
Oh my gosh.
And, she was 5'11" when she graduated high school. But the height thing I never understood because everyone around me was tall. My brothers are all tall.
Yeah.
There's four.
Yeah,
of us.
yeah.
Younger brother's
So you
about
didn't
6'8".
feel
Jeez.
particularly tall.
Louise.
No, and here's the thing: if you grow up playing sports, those are the guys you end up hanging out with. Well, me and the other big guys on the basketball team were best friends, and so when we went to the mall to hang out and stuff, it was all guys my size.
Your size, yeah.
And so it didn't register until I see myself in photos
Right.
with other people.
With
and
us normies.
with
All the normal
normies.
folk.
The short norms.
With the gin pop.
What's funny is my dad is 6'2", and he doesn't trust anyone under 5'10". He's like, I don't know about that. I don't know.
They're
about
living
this
a
fella.
life of desperation.
All the little
Really,
carnies.
Daddy?
He's
the
like, look
point
at all
guard on
these
our
carnies
basketball
running
team.
around.
He's a good guy, and he's like, I don't know.
Nipping at our heels.
He's like, what, 5'5"? I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's almost 6 foot, Daddy.
Oh my God, I don't know. I don't
Close
know.
enough.
He's got this small hand. He's going to try to steal our wallets.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So you guys
Okay.
have been married now for how long now?
2008. What's that?
So 16 years.
Is it going to be 16 or going to be 17?
It will be 16. The 16th wedding anniversary gift is wax.
Oh. So you're getting to a beehive.
Kind of a hive.
we own a candle factory.
Oh,
and so
duh.
I can't get her a
You
candle.
could get me a nice hand cream.
Yeah.
Sure.
A hand dipping. I know that's a thing. Like you get the
Ooh, I could go get
paraffin.
my hands dipped. Get a
Do y'all do
cuticle
y'all do the yearly thing that y'all stay to that? To like the
He does, yeah.
My sister and brother-in-law do
wearing
too.
13.
Yeah.
It's citrine.
I don't know many couples that do it. My
I know.
brother-in-law and sister do that. They're on it, like paper and then whatever. It was fascinating. Keep up with. Okay, so
16 years.
Yeah.
How would you say, like, in what ways is marriage what you thought it would be, and in what ways is it not what you thought it would be?
I didn't think about what it would be before it was.
That was very poetic and beautiful, honestly.
So my dad is a preacher, and he married us, and he does marriage counseling with everybody before, which was great.
It was the greatest.
He was the greatest because he's also he has a psychiatry and psychology degree.
Holy cow!
On top of being a minister.
That's
and
cool.
He's just absolutely
That is helpful.
brilliant. And so he set us down, and so I feel like our expectations have been pretty.
Yeah,
well.
we spent a whole day with him giving us like really great tools, I guess, for communication. And he made us both take a test, and then the results of the test we had to give to each other so we would know these things about each other.
Yeah.
And anyway, that was awesome. Yeah.
Which I think it ends up, it's like the love language stuff and all that.
Yeah.
But this was, before that got super hip. But
I don't know. What I have appreciated, people talk a lot about marriage is hard, but I don't think of it, I've never thought of it as hard because it feels like he's an extension of myself. I don't think of living with myself as hard. Do you know what I mean? We've been together since we were so young.
This is something that we've just discovered because we've
been together since we were 19.
Yeah, when we do a lot of interviews and stuff, and people, 6 days. It's so it's
a talking point.
This is something we just recently kind of had a revelation about, is that we grew up together.
Yeah.
So we formed
as
our
a unit.
adult identities around each other.
Yeah.
And so we feel, and we've always worked together. There was like 1 year when I had an office job when we first got married, and he would come have lunch with me every day. We were still not really apart.
Yeah.
We would have lunch together every single day. But otherwise, besides that 1 year, we have been together in every job nonstop. He was a youth minister, and I would do like the stuff with the girls in the group.
Yeah.
And so we kind of did that together. And then I started a stationery company, and he ran the shipping department. And then we did, started making Hometown, and of course we are literally stuck together 24/7. So he's not. I don't think of him as someone
He's
else.
this different person.
As this different person, you're just my other personality.
Yes, your the male version of yourself.
He's my outgoing personality.
The hard thing about it is that we don't know how to do it separate.
Yeah, anytime we have to be apart for some reason is hard.
It's hard.
I, for instance, parenting. This is not what you asked. You're asking about marriage, but
parenting is
this
part
place.
of
This place
for us.
it's on brand.
I feel like all of my friends are incredibly good at solo momming because their husbands work in a different location from them.
Yeah.
And so they are used to doing things on their own. But if I have to solo mom without him for even an hour or 2 hours, the girls
It's exhausting.
the girls really misbehave and are different.
Wow.
As long as
Interesting.
daddy is there, they stay balanced and really sweet, and they
Same,
don't fight.
and it's the same if she's not there for me.
Yeah.
They just they don't like it to have just one of us. We both drop her off at school every morning, and her sister comes with us. I mean, we are just really together. So,
but then with that, like a few weeks ago, we got invited to speak to this group in Orlando, and it was going to be one night away. But the problem there is nobody wants me to come and speak or Erin to come and speak.
Both, yeah.
And so when we travel, we say no to a lot of things because our rule is if it's more than 2 nights, then you have to bring our daughters.
Now it's one night.
Yeah, now if it's more than one night, then our daughters have to come with us. And because you need both of us to be on stage at the same time, you need to pay for a granny or a nanny or somebody to come with us to keep them while we're on stage. And it's So
It's
yeah,
just a weird challenge that most families, I think, probably don't have. You can make
Right.
it with just mom or just dad at home for a day or two, but everything falls apart.
Yeah.
So do you guys find, because when you're talking about how your girls are when one of you is away, I mean, it's definitely, I have 2 girls as well. It's definitely more challenging when you're solo parenting, for sure. But I found, especially when they were younger, they were so much easier on me than they were on Amy, my wife. They were just more emotional with her. It was night and day. It was.
well,
Is that the same? I'm getting a.
Aaron is agreeing wholeheartedly.
Yes.
so I have a theory on it, at least with our girls.
Yeah.
Our girls, like today it rained, and so Helen didn't get to go to recess. So when she gets home, she is going to be
A tiger
just a big
Yeah,
cat.
pin up.
Mad,
roaring through the
pin up.
house.
Okay, if they get to go outside for anything, climbing a tree, work in the garden, feed the fish, whatever, run around, then they're pretty good.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they don't. They go to the garden with me. They go to the pond with me. They play in the trees
They
with
won't
me.
do it with
they
me.
will not do it with her.
Really?
Because it doesn't feel normal to them.
Huh.
And it has to be something abnormal and new. Like the other day, I came home and it was flooding rain, and the 3 of them were in the driveway in the yard dancing in the rain, and that was something they've never done before. And so that was okay. That was exciting and new and fun, and they were doing it with Mama, and it was great. But if
Yeah.
Mama says, "Hey, why don't we go down and water the garden?" No, Daddy's not here.
They're like, don't
They're
take
not-
Dad's
they're
thing,
just-
Mom.
Don't
That's
do that.
Dad's thing.
That's Dad. Dad isn't.
That
That's
is
the aquatic
really
parent.
fascinating.
That is, yeah.
I don't know. We've messed them up. That's what's happened.
Okay,
They're totally
so with
inflexible.
that said, I'm curious. What and y'all have been together so long. What is the superpower that each of you, if you could steal, is a better way to ask this. If you could steal one quality from the other person, what quality would you steal?
There's a lot.
Erin's imagination.
Oh wow.
She is fascinating with her imagination.
I'm really
but also,
good at imagining the worst case scenario.
Yeah, it's also it's a gift and a curse.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It always is.
But yeah,
Ben's generosity and his you just don't worry about stuff. I worry. I worry. He just doesn't worry.
which is a
But when I say generosity, I mean if he's having a conversation with you, you are the most interesting person
Yeah, that's
in
a
his
gift, yeah.
world, and all he wants to know is all about you. And he has a way of making people feel cared for.
Yeah.
And if I say something like, "Could you run to the store and get some bread?" He'll come back with 7 kinds of bread. I know this is what you normally buy, and they had that. But look at what you didn't know they had. They had this, and they had that, and I thought you would love this. And this sounds like something that the girls would just love.
seven loaves of bread is an exaggeration.
Well, that's
Yeah.
biblical. It's a nice
Sure.
biblical number.
Sure.
So
It is a good number. But it's also just the same. It's also a curse in that, I cannot get away from people. Like, if I have something I have to go and do.
Yeah.
Especially in our current career.
Yeah.
Like if he were doing your job right now, this would last 6 hours. It would never end. It would
Yeah.
go on and on and on.
Now, Ben, are you
so
good at
it's-
retaining what? Like, if you're having a conversation with somebody and you're interested in them and you're curious and you're asking questions,
Me?
yeah, are you good at retaining what they said to you? Because
Yes.
that's where
the
I feel.
odd thing is I cannot remember their name.
yeah,
He can't
yeah,
remember anybody's name.
yeah. I'm the same.
And I don't know why, but I cannot remember.
I'm the
names.
exact same.
I remember, I'll be like, the guy he was telling me about, he drove a GMC Typhoon in high school, and it was black. And he
You
put a
never forget that
V8 in
guy.
it, and he played tennis in Anderson, Indiana. And you don't remember this guy? You don't remember what he was talking about? And,
He was definitely about 5'8". He had brown hair,
he had brown hair,
very blue eyes.
very blue
Deep,
eyes.
piercing
I
He was,
like
blue
this.
eyes.
Keep going, guys. Come on.
So I remember, I retain.
No, he drove a Geo Tracker.
Yeah, it was
Did he?
definitely
Yeah.
a Geo
John,
tracker.
did you drive a Geo Tractor?
Guys, I would have killed to have a Geo
I wish it
Tracker
was
back
a
in the day.
magenta Geo Tracker.
It was a 1989 Nissan Pulsar.
Ooh, just
awesome.
couldn't.
That's what you're thinking.
Women are jumping in the
Right here.
windows as
Oh
you
my
drive
gosh.
by.
Yep.
Throwing themselves at the car.
Yep.
So this is something
Yeah.
I'm curious about. Like, as y'all said, with each of your personalities, and I think now, especially knowing that about you, Ben, like, what is it like to be in a small town like that? And then you have this show, obviously, so then you have notoriety. Is it, and I would say, with each of your personalities, because it's funny, Erin, because if you are an introvert, like you said you are, that's got to be tricky. And then Ben, if you're, because this sounds a lot like I think you and I probably have very similar personalities, Ben. I'm like the Walmart greeter of the world. I love talking to people. I'll talk to anybody.
Every interaction he has charges him up.
That's me.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It doesn't matter how awkward it is either.
Yeah, just
The
go.
more awkward, the better. It's like, I
He
want,
relishes.
I know. So
I
like,
want to.
how does
live
that?
in
What does that look
Like
like?
he does things like he'll find the shyest looking person in the room and he'll be like, "Hey, what's your name?" And I'll be like, "They don't want to talk to you."
You're
They don't want to
scaring
talk
them.
to
But they usually do.
And then
Usually,
it was like yesterday, this girl who looked so shy, who was at this thing we were doing, and he was like, "What's your name?" She's like, "Jody." He was like, "Where are you from?" And she's like, "Louisville." And then he forces people to talk to him.
but it's so in Laurel, it is the weirdest. If we drive 10 miles down the road to another town or 20 miles down the road to another town,
people have a totally normal reaction.
totally normal, like Nashville
"Hey,
reaction.
I
Like,
enjoy Hometown. That's a good show."
Wow.
Thank you so
Then we
much.
say, "Thank you so much for watching."
Yeah, have a good day, and that's it.
Yeah.
But in Laurel, it is they have come to Disneyland, and we are Mickey Mouse.
Oh wow.
And we are so incredibly grateful for it.
Right.
It is
Right.
amazing.
But
Yeah.
if someone's at a level 10 or a 12,
This
and-
is for Erin.
Yeah, I
and
was
they're
gonna
that
say.
level of excited,
Yeah.
and I'm coming in at a level 1 because
Yeah.
I've never met you before.
Yeah.
It's real hard to get to a 6.
Yeah.
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 For both of them.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they
Find common ground.
Well,
gotta come
and
down.
when it's like your 4th or 5th time that day having
And
that
that's
kind of an
not-
interaction.
Yes. Well, and also like
I'm not saying anything about the person who's excited to be here because I'm
Sure.
so glad that they're here.
Right.
It's that I'm speaking about my own weaknesses
Oh yeah.
here.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is
No, I know.
I'm an introvert,
Yeah.
and I'm not skilled
Yeah.
at getting to a 6.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's the
If they
big
come at
thing,
Ben with a 12, he's meeting them with a 13.
I'll raise it. So but Erin has learned a trick that she does when they're like so excited to see her. She fakes it and says,
I say, "What are you doing here?"
and it throws them
There
off.
you go.
And so she's learning how to do
Or
it.
I say, "It's you."
And then they're like,
It is me.
They're shocked.
You're right. It's me.
That gets
It's
us to a
been me the
4
whole time.
sometimes.
So then the problem is talking about it being a gift and a curse is the like I want them to have a great experience. I really do, and I
Yeah.
want like okay,
Yeah.
we're talking now, but Laura there was one morning I stopped. A friend of mine has a coffee shop in town, and I stopped to get a coffee. I just left the barber shop. I texted him my order so he would have it ready when I got there. I walked in and grabbed the coffee, dropped a $5 on the desk, and was walking out. And it turned into a meet and greet because it was Saturday morning in downtown Laurel.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It took me like 30 minutes to get into my car, and then people were still talking. And again, it's one of
As you're
these things
driving
where-
off.
Yeah, it's like incredibly amazing that you have found Laurel, Mississippi.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
You're here and you're shopping, and I am so grateful. But at the same time, I have things I need to get done, and so that is the hardest part.
Very hard for Ben, who wants to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
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 Well, and that's a
And
real.
so-
I feel like that's a rarity because even in our world with music, you like I feel like I played a show last night in Raleigh, North Carolina, and there was a family that wanted to meet me, and if I'm not careful, I'll talk to them for an hour because I'm just like, well, tell me about y'all, and especially when it's like a controlled environment, they're backstage. It's
Yes.
I'm
and
not.
Erin does great in that.
Yeah, but I think and John's outgoing too. But like it's rare you get people who are genuinely outgoing in these kind of industries, because usually you're more sequestered and you kind of keep your thing tight and you want to keep people away. So it's doubly tricky when you have your setup like you do, Ben, where it's like, oh no, I actually like people, but now, and again, I struggle with this sometimes too. It's like I have to be careful about that, because I really will talk to everybody, and then it's like we're late for something, or we got to start the show, or we're, band's trying to leave, and I'm like, they're like, Barnes, let's wrap it up, and people just talk to you as long as, which you love.
As long as you'll let them.
But it's weird having to have a discipline around it,
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to.
I get embarrassed when someone says something complimentary to me. So what comes off as like, she was not very friendly. It's really that I'm just embarrassed and I don't know how to take a compliment. Maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm just bad at this, and I just stay at home.
Well, Erin, you have an interesting situation being an introvert, as you say, and describing yourself how you've been describing. But you also have this really unique and really, positive and important journal that you've been keeping, a very public journal that you've been keeping for a long time.
You really signed yourself up for trouble here.
It's an interesting. It's interesting.
Well, and it's weird because we don't, like, she'll say this, that when we're making the show, it's us and Tim, our cameraman, who we've known for 10 years. It's, Zach, who's getting married. We're his daughters and our daughters play together. Like, it's people that we've known for years, and we love these people.
Our crew, who we just stare at and talk to all day long, every day.
Right.
And that feels like what my job is.
Yeah.
You don't think about what it becomes. The thing that we've been doing all day in bite-sized pieces becomes a whole polished product at the end that lots of people look at. That's weird.
Hey, I'm Greer, host of the Unfinished Idea podcast, where listeners and I get to journey together to better understand the neurodiverse world. Together with my husband, we have 2 boys and 2 dogs and raising a child with additional needs. Our day-to-day experience isn't being talked about in everyday life, and I see a gap in those leading people who are neurodivergent. Whether you're a parent, a friend, a teacher, or a neighbor, the neurodivergent world is all around us. So this podcast is for you. I have conversations over a cup of tea or coffee, helping to bring awareness about how neurodivergent people experience the world, as well as families who are raising children with different needs. This podcast will share practical help, tips, and the joys, struggles, and differences in being neurodivergent or raising a child who is. Each week, I will spend 30 minutes talking and interviewing others in the neurodiverse space and giving you the opportunity to learn and grow and feel seen and heard by how we interact with each other and the world. Search for The Unfinished Idea in your favorite podcast app and come learn about the neurodivergent world. I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
Do you feel like, this is a question I had for y'all. Do you that was redundant to say because I'm going to ask it. Obviously it's a question now. Are there ever moments, not that you wish you hadn't done it, but like, is there ever moments where you're like, man, this is a lot, or like, I kind of wish I could just like take a TO for a week and disappear to the Bahamas and not have to think about this? Because I know y'all love it. I know obviously you're really good stewards of it, which I really mean that. I think it's really beautiful how y'all have handled, what you're doing, but and maybe a better way to say that is this, so I don't put you on the spot. If you could tell yourself before it all happened, like if you could sit and have 5 minutes with yourself and go, hey, this thing's about to happen. Here's some things that you may want to know before it does. Like, what would those things be?
I don't know.
It just feels like a regular job.
We've had a really
because we live at home where we always were. And we still have our same old friends that we've had since college.
Yeah.
My cousin and his wife is my best friend. She was my roommate in college, and now we're neighbors. And anyway, we go to my mom and dad's house 2 or 3 times a week for dinner. So it all feels very normal.
Wow.
Yeah, that is
to me,
great.
it just feels like we have a very, very normal job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've met.
I could do this forever.
Wow.
Do it till it don't. But
we've met some key people at key times who showed us the boundaries that they use, and we have implemented our own versions of that. And the company that makes the show, the actual production company, they're really great and understanding. And so when Helen was born,
we mostly just have real strict boundaries around the girl.
Around our children.
Yep.
So when Helen was born, we told them, look, we'll only do 8 to 5 days a week. We will not do weekends. We will not work past 5. We will not work before 8. And that is
apparently unusual.
Extremely unusual in TV world. And also it's for our crew, they're all extremely grateful because they don't have to go to battle for those hours. They know that you don't have to be at work before. You may have to be at work at 7:30 to set things up, but you'll never have to be there at 6 a.m. and you'll never still be at work at midnight.
Right.
And
so they love it too.
We know a lot of people that work on other shows that they, I can't think there's like a certain...
And they've become even more very gracious and flexible since Helen started school. And you know how it is. The school calendar and school schedule kind of runs the world.
Yeah.
And when we need to be there, we take off.
That's great.
It's been really good.
That's so
real
great.
Good.
I love that so much.
I can't think of anything that... Everybody likes to, take a vacation, but...
Well, I love
no more than anyone else.
Yeah, always, and also because we're so close with our families. Like, I got a brother that's a truck driver who hasn't had a vacation in 10 years.
Wow.
And then I have a brother who's a math professor, and I know what public school teachers in Mississippi make. So I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't envy that. I could be doing that. I could be doing what my brother does. And so the fact that I get to do this and I get to do it with Erin in our hometown, and our girls get to grow up somewhat normal. And who knows what normal is anymore, but it's
we're trying to, it's 1990 in our house.
Yeah,
as far as our girls go.
I love
That's
it.
how we like to do things.
Well, you know what I love, and I just want to compliment y'all on this. I think it's so awesome and respectable seeing people who have not just gifts, but have the ability to sort of. We've had John Mark Homer on the podcast a few times, and I love how he says, but like up and to the right, make everything up and better and bigger and better and bigger and better. Just like doubling down every time you can. And I'm fascinated with people who don't do that when they could. And I feel like that's something that's really beautiful about the way y'all live your life is obviously you're having success and, the show is great and people come, like you said, and won't let you get your coffee. But, at the same time, what's so great is that you've said, hey, we'll do that, but to here. And that's it.
Yeah.
And so if you'll do that, we'll do it. And if not, we'll just keep living our lives anyway. I'm always so encouraged by that because I think, when you get around people who have these really substantial gifts that can iterate kind of into oblivion, I don't know if there's a harder thing as a human than to not do it, just to not let inertia do what inertia does or just jump in that river. And before you know it, you kind of look up and your life is this huge thing, And so I think it's really encouraging to see y'all do that. And I just want to congratulate you on that because I think it's something that not only will bless y'all and it is blessing y'all now, but like, gosh, in the future, to be able to look back and have kids that, kind of had some semblance of a normal life instead of just like the, just everything's going.
Constantly in front of things.
Yeah. I hope so.
That's the biggest thing is when we started this, we didn't really, we wanted to shine a positive light on our hometown and that was kind of it. Mm-hmm. And then we had kids and then everything started shifting and like, okay.
Yeah.
Shine a light on that, but not on my babies.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Right.
And then we started Osprey. I don't know if y'all even know about that, but old school parents raising engaged youth.
Wow.
We realized once we were parents, we realized it before then, Ben really left youth ministry because it felt like kids were living in a digital world.
Wow.
That he's like, I can't even go there. I can't live in the same world that they live in anymore. Mm-hmm. And that made him feel like, I'm too old to be doing this. I don't want to do this anymore. And then we start seeing the effects of kids having phones in their hands all the time and how scary that unfettered access to the whole world, to the internet in your pocket is crazy. And we didn't have access like that.
But it's now there's so much information out there that you can read about. But this was literally, we were hiring kids to work in our stores and they couldn't they couldn't make eye contact or carry on
Wow.
a conversation or say, welcome, where are you from?
Wouldn't get off their phones.
They wouldn't get off their phones. They wouldn't. And it was like, this is a real problem. And if you told them they had to get off you can't have your phone at work, then they quit. It was like,
Jeez,
Oh my
Louise.
God.
and it was like, whoa, this is a real problem that we were seeing.
So we're trying to give our kids the amount of tech that we had
Yeah.
at their age. We have a landline so they can call grandparents. And we do let them FaceTime grandparents. His parents are 3 or 4 hours away, so they can FaceTime with them. But that's it as far as holding a device. They've never used tablets or phones.
Wow.
And we let them watch TV, but we watch it with them.
Yeah.
We help them pick the movie. We watch it together as a family. And I don't know. It's just like I'm finding there are a lot more boundaries in place than I really ever thought about before I had kids. Because I think they're going to really thrive if they have good boundaries.
Yeah.
To stay
Well,
in.
Dave and I were just doing another episode earlier today where we were talking about this exact thing. And
There's a book, The Anxious Generation. Have you
that's
seen
what
it?
I was just about to say. I'm listening to that book right now, and it's like really bolstering. My oldest daughter is 12 or is almost 12.
Oh man, you're in the prime time phone use.
Yeah. So I totally this is like top of mind every day for me right now.
John, did you have any siblings?
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 3. So I've got an older
Boys,
sister,
girls, sisters, brothers?
a sister in the middle, and then an oldest brother.
So I grew up with 3 brothers, and I've never really been around little girls. And when I was a teenager and I was dating girls, they were on their best behavior. And I am terrified to be where you are at right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what to do with a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
A 12-year-old girl doesn't know what to do with a 12-year-old girl.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
That's
Been there.
so true.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask real quick, Erin, when you were describing like how in the beginning of your relationship you guys were just together all the time, just inseparable, and I think my wife Amy and I early on, really for the first like 7 years, if somebody would have asked us what advice we had for like a newly married couple, I think we would have said like just be in the same room as much as you possibly can, because she would go out on tour with my band and I, and we were just always together, and it was the best. And then when we had kids, I mean that was sort of just a natural sort of logistically, she couldn't come out on the road anymore like she used to, and that was so I'm curious, because of you guys had so much time getting a rhythm together, you're working together, everything is working, were you nervous about what kids would do? I mean, kids change everything.
Yeah.
And how you were going to incorporate that. And what was
I remember having a huge cry before Helen was born about that very thing.
Yeah.
And then I remember having a huge cry right before May was born about how we're a family of 3 and that will never be again.
Mm-hmm.
And then May's born, and I feel like, oh, well, now we're a whole family now.
Yeah.
We were, so I was never worried about having kids or anything. I have several brothers and they have kids, and I knew that like, we are happy together. And then, I didn't want to put any kind of pressure on Erin or anything. And it was this decision that we kind of come to together. Like, if it's going to happen, it'll happen. And then one day she decided, it was a Mother's Day, she decided,
It was Mother's Day, and they said all the women in the church stand, not just
you're
the
a mother
mothers.
of some kind.
You mother people in all sorts of ways, even if you don't have children. And
She felt.
I was like, I don't deserve that flower.
And so that day, she decided
I wasn't scared anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, it was Mother's Day.
And I found out I was
2017.
pregnant on Mother's Day the next year.
Oh, yeah,
No
2016,
way.
Wow.
Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
Literally, it was Mother's Day, both times. But then, and then we were worried about it because we didn't know how we would do our job. We didn't know excuse me, how we would do our relationship. And we are, so the advice that we give always on marriage is to tell each other everything. And that sounds obvious, yeah, but if there are absolutely no sneakiness, no secrets, then there's never this big surprise of what is going on. Why didn't you tell me this was going on? And so, and I know like
we don't have much to argue about because we know the context of everything all the time.
Wow.
So arguments never get the chance to become big into something that you can't come back from. You know, we still have arguments about things, but they're small enough that we can reach a conclusion before it grows into something big. And I know that like for a lot of people, they have, you know,
so
things,
much going on and it's hard to do that.
Yeah, or they have things that have been going on for a long time and they feel like they can't go to their spouse with it or, you know, whatever. But it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's fascinating. Okay, so you guys have been the best. We end these with a lightning round. So buckle the heck up.
They stress me out.
Don't. Hey, no, this is fun.
It's gonna be like when Ben tried to flirt with me in college.
By the way, I want to tell y'all one of my takeaways from this is going to be that when he rolled up, he thought you were accusing him of stealing his purse. That is to me one of the most.
In that moment, I would have thought, "This is completely over. This will never happen." This woman thought I stole her purse.
Okay, so let me give a little context to that. So I'm a preacher's kid. I grew up a preacher's kid. So no money. Like, we didn't,
I know that life.
So I'm pulling up in a wore out.
You were in the tan Suburban. You were in the nice Suburban.
The nice one. It needed painting and it smelled like mildew on the inside. And it was a 20-year-old diesel Suburban that was so loud you couldn't communicate. And so in my mind, and also like at this point in my life, like people talk a lot about like, you know, getting pulled over and you know, all this. I was always terrified of what are they going to find that's wrong with my vehicle and take me to jail for. Because it's happening. And so I always like, I wasn't a bad kid. I was never like getting into trouble, but I felt like I looked like the kind that was always getting into trouble. And so I pull up, I'm in this wore out loud Suburban. And so that's the context in my mind. Like, here's this, beautiful young girl whose family cares about her, obviously, and someone has stolen her purse. And I was the last
you
one.
need a muffler. She's like, you need that muffler.
Such a stupid conclusion to jump to.
Welcome to the male mind.
Yep. It's just a taste.
Yeah, it's just a little dip. Okay, so here's the first
lightning round.
Here's the first lightning round. Side of the bed. Does it change when you go on vacation?
No.
Not
Always
even when
the
you go
same.
on vacation.
Never.
Okay, always the same.
I couldn't possibly sleep on the other side.
So if we're laying on our back, I'm on the left and she's on the right.
Same. Yep. I think that's y'all too, John, isn't it?
Nope, we're the opposite.
Okay, never mind.
Yep.
Well,
we're opposite in every way.
You could have been cool. You could have been cool.
Yeah, what a lunatic.
We're going to try the other side, though.
Just see what happens.
I don't know.
We might spiral out of control.
Marriage falls apart.
Like, people only do that when someone dies.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's no.
Yeah.
You know those sad love songs where they're like,
so
I'm going to sleep with her.
Yeah.
All right. What is your favorite small town in Mississippi other than Laurel?
You can say Kosciuszko, but you don't have to. But what's the gym? Like, what's the little one you're like, gosh, people need to know about this little spot?
No, everybody knows about Oxford probably.
Yeah,
But it's pretty
Oxford's
great.
great.
New Albany's nice.
Oh, yeah, New Albany.
It's nice.
Okay. Yep.
It's a great little town.
Yep.
Ocean Springs is cute.
Yep. There's some goodies. There's some really cute little. I'm telling y'all, the first time I went to Oxford, I called my mom and I was like, this is one of the cutest.
That's how I felt
town.
too. I couldn't believe it.
It's so great.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom is going to listen to this podcast and be so mad at me because she's such a big fan of y'all. She's like,
How
I can't
dare
believe
you.
you. She's like, everybody in Mississippi's going to know now. Okay, here's a question. What is each of your favorite story from the show? Like, is there a moment that you look back on and as one of your favorites?
Favorite moments from the show.
When we did our house.
Oh yeah,
that was the most stressful time of our life.
Erin was pregnant.
Oh gosh.
No, it wasn't.
No, May was born.
May was a little baby.
We bought it when May. When,
Yeah, I was pregnant and we bought it. But
That's intense.
May was a baby when we renovated it. But renovating your own house for TV is a whole other.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, that's tough.
So Jones College, the one that we went where we met, they are building a school called the Erin and Ben Napier School.
Oh wow.
Of design and
building
construction
arts.
arts, design and building arts.
You might want to get that right.
So it's a mouthful. It's a long name. But we announced it on the show, and it was just.
And when they told us, we cried like.
Oh, I love that. Isn't that sweet?
That's amazing.
That was a pretty good moment.
That's really cool. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you have 2 days, just the two of you. The girls are taken care of. What do you do?
2 days.
You have 48 hours, just the two of you.
Sleep in.
Wow, that was a quick answer.
Sleep late, which would be like 6:45.
I know.
Yeah,
no
what are we
joke.
talking
No
about?
joke. No joke.
I'm up at 4 every morning.
No, for real?
4 a.m.
On purpose?
in the gym by 4:30. But then taking care of stuff around the house and everything before the girls get up, so that then I can help with the girls, because again, they're hard on mom in the morning. So sleep late, eat grown-up food.
Maybe make a nice, like, what are those egg things? Quiche.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Make
Quiche.
quiche.
That
I don't
quiche
know.
is
God.
hot by
I can't
5:30
fathom
in the
what
morning.
we would do.
Yeah.
I can tell you one thing that we could do, but it's probably not right for the podcast.
Well, that's
Touche,
a
my
given.
man.
That's a given.
We could take a trip somewhere.
New Albany,
Up to
just down the
Jackson?
I'm sure
road.
people do
Up to the
spontaneous things like that.
metropolis of Jackson. Just to.
Yeah, we
we
did
went
that.
we went to Jackson 2 weeks ago. We just the girls were both taking good naps, and I said, "Hey, hear me out. When they wake up, what if we go to dinner in Jackson?"
What if we go to the Barnes and Noble?
And we did.
Oh my gosh.
And it was awesome.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
We're simple people, guys.
Well,
these are the things we wish for.
Me and the guys, we were driving yesterday to the show because we played Charlotte 2 nights ago. We were driving to Raleigh yesterday, and I would ask them, I was like, hey, what was like a day for y'all growing up in each of your towns? And they asked me. They answered. And they're like, what about Kosciuszko? And I was like, guys, you really don't understand. I don't really have an answer. And they're like, no, but like, what would you do? And I was like, I'm really not kidding. There was not
Just
somewhere to
Throw
go.
rocks at a stop
We
sign.
would go to the sand pit, which
You're
was
going
a
to check
hill
the
of
mail
sand.
around 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then maybe again.
Check it again later.
Four. I was
Yeah,
gonna
if it's
say
not there. Or just might not come that day.
Also, before this last question, I did have a woman's true story. Speaking of quiche, that ordered. I was working at a restaurant in Knoxville when we moved there in high school, and a lady said, "I'd love to order some of your quiche," and I said, "Okay." Where is that on the menu? And she pointed at quiche, and I was like, "Oh, I'll get you some quiche." Right? Did you know what kind of quiche you wanted? And I wanted to name one of my children that, honestly. Quiche Barnes. Okay, last question. If you wrote a book on marriage, what would it be called?
Talk to me.
Ooh. Dang.
Look at
I
that.
told you
That'll work. That'll work.
No, that was
I'd be terrible
amazing.
at this.
That's really good.
It's a country song.
I know. I was about
Same
to say.
team. That's what it'd be called.
Yeah, same team.
Same
That's what.
team.
Yeah, we do same team. Here,
Same room.
to me.
Same
we
team.
bump our rings together.
I'm gonna say, just
Here we go.
talk to me. I'm telling you, it's all there. It's all there, guys. It's waiting to happen. Hey, thank
Yo,
y'all.
thank you so much.
for hanging.
Absolutely.
It's good to
thank
know
y'all
too
for
that we're
inviting
related.
us.
I'm excited about that. That feels
Yeah.
great, knowing that somewhere back there we're all
Happy for
connected.
you
Mississippi
guys.
mud.
We're all first cousins.
We're all-
It's real exciting.
We absolutely are. But thank y'all so much.
Hey, tell
keep doing
Logan
what
I
you're
said
doing.
hi.
Yeah.
I'll tell him.
Yeah.
I'll tell him. Logan was a very talented golfer in high school. I don't know if you played for
Oh,
your
wow.
high school golf team.
I did not.
But Logan did.
He's the ringer. He's now when y'all do the corporate golf things. He's your ringer.
He's
Yeah.
only about 20 years younger than you. I'm sure
Yeah.
you knew him.
Logan. Yeah, Logan's in his mid-20s.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Those guys.
I might know his dad then. Maybe.
Say no doubt.
It hurts, doesn't it?
It does stink.
I just want to tell y'all that we got invited to Helen. She got invited to a birthday party when she was
Oh,
in
this
K4.
is so good.
And her mother wasn't born when 9/11 happened.
No.
This child's mother.
But then
We
the
got
child's
there.
grandfather was there, and he went to high school with Aaron's brother.
No.
But is it that's a little Mississippi thing because we like all my cousins,
Yeah.
most of my cousins and my friends from high school
early here.
and my wife's friends from college, they started it. I mean, my mom and dad had me when they were 26, which was kind of old growing
Yeah.
up. But now our
Yeah.
friends, like my cousin, I'm thinking his wife had their first at 22 or something crazy, and it's like their kids.
Where's your wife from, Dave?
She's from Jackson.
Oh, that's right. You
Yeah.
said that. No, you
Yeah.
didn't. You said your mom and dad.
Yeah.
The Barnes and Noble.
She's
there.
from there and then went to Ole Miss,
Where'd she go to high school?
Jackson Prep, JP.
Prep.
Mm-hmm.
I bet she knows. Did they go to academy or prep? Sorry.
Oh, she knows them if they went to prep.
How old is she?
She's 42.
Then-
Should be older.
Yeah.
But just barely.
But she's a young 42, guys. She's beautiful. She's spry. she's fast. She's around. She's moving. She's shaking.
Yeah.
She's still got it.
Yeah.
John, where's your wife from? This is my favorite game, by the
Oh
way.
no, this is my wife's favorite game. She loves this game. She was born in Phoenix, and then lived in Dayton, Ohio for a little bit, and then moved to Indiana.
You got
Anderson.
nothing.
No, I got nothing.
I love that Ben's brain was.
Yes, it just started raining.
Nothing.
Very exciting.
Oh, but train. We're getting all the real sound effects
I know,
of Southern
it's fun.
Mississippi. The rain. So but last question. Where are y'all? What are y'all in?
Our office.
Yeah, so our factory is here. We're in our factory currently.
Oh.
Where we make cutting boards
Yeah,
and candles and butcher
Yeah.
block countertops and all sorts of stuff. But this is our quote unquote executive suite. It's the owners. So we all
It's
have
us and our four best friends. We all have a little.
I would
cubby
walk
hole.
around and show you, but it's a
Yeah,
lot. It's
don't-
whole
a
room.
yeah. It looks beautiful. Where is it? Is it?
Uh,
I'm trying to figure out what the wall's going on back there. Is it just not finished?
So this was like a part of the factory originally.
Gotcha.
And so it's like big industrial windows and all, and then this is white oak. Oh, show right here.
Oh, there you go. That makes more sense. Okay.
Oh,
So we have white oak paneling that we built.
That's cool.
You can see we're not finished. The switch
it's a
plate.
work in progress.
Sure, you don't know.
Aaron, that was a really good hand. I really enjoyed
Thank you.
that.
So, but then we have. It's really cool.
It
It's
is.
a cool
I wish
factory.
I could show you. The cool part's over there. Just trust
We
me.
got
trust
to
you.
get down
We
there.
trust you.
My wife's
You
people
come to
are in
town and we'll
Southern
give you
Come
the
Mississippi.
and
tour.
holler at us.
We'll holler at you. We will
Yeah.
holler. We will holler. We'll write some songs and build some houses. I can't build houses, guys. I can build songs. I can't.
You
build
probably
houses.
could. It's not as hard as
Be
it
a
looks.
special
That's
guest.
your next book. How to build houses. I promise you can. Well, guys, thank y'all. Hey, and God bless what y'all are doing. I can't
Yeah.
tell you
Thank you
how,
so much.
how
So
fun
great.
it is to see y'all do what you do and do it so well. It means a lot to
Same to
everybody.
y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See y'all
y'all.
soon.
Bye.